You know, being able to access your calendars, files and images from any device is incredibly important for many. And while many proprietary operating systems try to automatically set this up for you, for better or worse, on Linux it's entirely optional. But this doesn't automatically mean that connecting to your online services is more difficult to do. No matter if you use Google, Microsoft or any other online cloud provider to sync your data between your devices. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can connect these online services to your Linux operating system and use them in an efficient and intuitive way. And without any further ado, let's jump straight in. Right, so Linux. It's about choice and freedom to install anything on your system you want. So, as with many things, there are some differences between desktop environments and how you can integrate your cloud providers. Let's first start off with the desktop environment GNOME, since it's the most used one. Being the default for Ubuntu, Fedora and many more commonly known distributions, their approach to connecting to online services is to implement the functionality directly into the desktop itself. Online Accounts is a functionality which you can find in the system settings, and it allows you to connect to various cloud providers, but also other ones that are not listed here, as long as they support one of these listed protocols. If you want to connect your account, you simply choose the right option, log in via the prompted interface, and afterwards you can select which data you want to sync. The mail setting allows us to automatically add our email account to email applications like Evolution or Geary. Calendar integrates our appointments into the default calendar app and automatically syncs new entries. Contacts adds them, well, to your contacts, and the Files option actually integrates the cloud storage straight into your file manager. It's essentially like using the OneDrive integration on Windows, as long as your distro is on the latest GNOME 46 release, which just added it. Oh, and here's a little tip. If you save images or videos in the cloud, then by default GNOME doesn't load previews to improve loading times. If you want to see them, then you can enable them in the file manager preferences. It should also be noted that not every template here allows you to sync everything just yet. This is partially due to the provider simply not offering support for it, but luckily this is not an issue that is exclusive to Linux. GNOME's online accounts are a very nice addition, since everything integrates seamlessly into the environment. And since I can adjust what I want to sync to my system, it also gives me a better security aspect. In fact, its integration was so useful that many other distributions and desktop environments like Linux Mint with Cinnamon also ship it. So you're not even limited to just GNOME if you want to use it. Let's move on to another popular desktop environment that is also being used on the Steam Deck. KDE Plasma. Now here's the thing, KDE Plasma also has an online accounts integration like GNOME and Cinnamon, but it works differently and doesn't support providers outside the listed ones. Functionality wise it's also not the best, and I had troubles reconnecting my drives after a reboot, so I can't really recommend it. If it works for you though, then go for it. If not, then there are of course ways how you can access your cloud files on it as well. Let's start off with the calendar synchronization. Now the best two programs that have this functionality are K-Organizer, the calendar app that is usually pre-installed, and Mercuro, which is essentially just a more modern version of it. Simply add your accounts in the calendar settings, and if you want your entries to display in the calendar widget as well, you also need to tick this checkbox in the settings, which then allows you to access it. It's not the best compared to GNOME and Cinnamon, but it works just fine. For integrating cloud storage into your file browser, KDE Plasma is not the best platform, as, like I mentioned, it sometimes causes troubles after a reboot, and I can't access my files anymore. So what I did to integrate cloud storage providers into my system is to install them as web apps. For this to work, we're going to either need a Chromium-based browser, so Chromium, Chrome, Edge, Brave, Vivaldi and similar, or an extension for something Firefox-based. Then we'll head over to the cloud provider like OneDrive or Google Drive and install the site as a web app. This allows you to run these apps in a sort of full screen application, which sometimes also allows you to store recent files for offline use as well. On Google, for example, there is a toggle in the settings, which you need to activate. And then there is of course the even easier method of just installing the Linux native app, which many vendors like Nextcloud and Dropbox seem to provide. Overall speaking, KDE Plasma definitely falls behind in terms of file and calendar integration, but points if you want to extend your desktop in general with third-party widgets. Personally, I like the Gnome Online Accounts functionality more, since it just works really well. But it isn't perfect just yet. Like when you want to add a Microsoft Business account, which looks complicated, but doesn't actually require any input. Now as for the rest of my desktop, I also like to further extend it with online services that don't require a login, like setting the weather widget in my top bar, connecting to my phone via Bluetooth so that I can take calls on my PC, and installing some extensions. I also connect my file server via the file manager and configured a VPN to my home network on my Microsoft Surface, in case I ever need to access it remotely. All of this stuff was incredibly easy to configure, and I now have a fast and efficient operating system that almost seemingly integrates with my remaining online but also local services. If you use a desktop environment that doesn't have some of these settings, then due to Linux's open nature, you might still be able to utilize them. And I would be very interested in how well this works for you, so definitely make sure to leave a comment down below. Before I end this video, I quickly wanted to mention that if you want to support the channel, make even better videos, then feel free to check out our membership program for exclusive bonuses, as well as our online shop, whereas each sale helps to fund various open source projects. If you've liked this video, then please make sure to show it with a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on any future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and all that's left to say now is good morning, good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are. I'll see you around.